Hello, everyone. I am Katie, and I am here today with Carolyn for her to share with us her journey about the Akashic Record certification course. So we will start it off by switching to Carolyn and asking who she is, what her business is, and how she found the Akashic Records.
Hello, I'm Carolyn Boucher. Right now, I'm sort of between homes. I live just outside of Ottawa in Canada, and I have a website where I offer Reiki and Akashic Record Readings. Initially, I'd been running sort of a separate business for a few years where I was more of a maker and a crafter, and I made handmade soaps and aromatherapy products. And I had just been more because I was going through a sort of a challenging period in my life. I started researching and learning more about services, and I was being called more to offer um, energy healing and healing to both myself and to others. So I'm still doing both now. So presently I'm doing Akashic record readings, and I'm still a bit of a maker and a soap maker and a crafter.
Beautiful. And yeah, we'll share that link below for anybody that wants to check out what Carolyn makes or about her readings or energy healing. So I guess if you could let us know how you found the Akashic Records and kind of what that journey was like for you, and yeah, what sparked your interest in taking the class to start doing readings for others as well.
Absolutely. It was actually really, really neat. I kind of get goosebumps when I just think about it. I was actually taking my Reiki training, and I overheard my teacher mention Akashic record readings. And at that point, I didn't even know what they were, but it was sort of like, oh my God, what is that? I need to find out what that is, because that is really something that's really important. Um, so I asked Lucy, my teacher, a little bit about it, and she told me. And I think that day I went home and I booked my first reading with Katie. Um, and it was interesting because when I was taking my Reiki training, a lot of I was having a lot of struggles trusting the intuitive messages that were coming through when I lay my hands on another person. A lot of self-doubt. I really was struggling with what I was feeling and seeing and sensing. So I had my first call with Katie that night, or shortly after, and it was, from the moment we connected, it was like all of a sudden this heaviness, these challenges I'd been having in my life, they suddenly had a context. They suddenly made sense. I suddenly understood why I was where I was. I was able to make sense of um, the pain that I was going through. And it was just like everything just fell into place. And I signed up. I think I reached out to Katie. Even when I finished my Reiki course, I was still very doubtful of um, how much I was sensing was real. So I think I reached out to Katie and just asked her about taking training, because I was really interested after that one reading I had with her. And so she let me know when she was launching the course. And I didn't even, the minute I remember I got the email when I was at the emergency with my son. Do you remember that,
Yeah, I do.
Katie? I couldn't believe it. I was basically sitting in emergency with my son, who was going through a really rough time, and I got the email from Katie saying she was launching the course, and I couldn't believe it. And I think I messaged her and said, "Oh my gosh, like, is this divine timing or what?" Um, and it was amazing. I couldn't wait to start the course. And I remember even on the first time that we were reading for each other on the course, um, I had a little bit of more of a challenge going into my own records.
Mhm.
But when I was going into the records of one of my classmates, I couldn't believe it. Was as if, I don't even know how to explain it. It was just like this other stream, this other being was in me talking about what they saw. And I couldn't stop talking. I didn't even know where this was coming from. It was very odd feeling at first.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was just like, it was otherworldly when I was reading for one of my course mates. And from then on, I was doing a sort of a practical, I was practicing on other, I reached out and offered, practice readings for others. And every single time I couldn't believe, I kept doubting myself every time I would go to start a reading. I thought, no, it's not going to work this time. And it did. No, it's not going to work this time. And it did. And it just got, the channel just became stronger and stronger and stronger. And it's funny now when I do a reading, sometimes I'll have a little tiny bit of resistance, but it's usually more that there's something going on in my life and I don't want to sit still and be quiet because there's something I'm trying to avoid in my own life. It's not that I doubt I will be able to connect. And every single time without fail, I sit and do a reading for someone, I come out of it feeling so peaceful and so connected and so much better than I did before I started the reading. And the fun, just to tie it back to the Reiki, as soon as I was able to make that connection to the Akashic realm, it just, it was like it multiplied my confidence and my trust in myself. And I had zero doubts when it went back to hands-on energy healing. I was able to, it was like going into the Akashic realm helped me to really trust all of those feelings and all of those sort of knowings that I'd had my whole life, but that I didn't really think were real because I couldn't, touch them. I couldn't see them. I did have, just before signing up for the course, I did have some resistance around money. And I know myself, that's something I've been working on my own records. I have complicated issues with money and with being deserving. And if I can just sort of, I guess, encapsulate everything that I've said here, it is whether you choose to use it to, I know part of my journey here is healing a lot of issues in my lineage. So I sort of alternate between putting my offerings out there to serve the collective and also bringing my offerings inwards and trying to heal the stuff that I know I came here to heal as well. Best investment that I made in myself and my journey ever. If you're feeling, if I can just say, if anyone's feeling any resistance around that, I know that Katie will, work around making it a possibility. And I can't recommend taking this course with Katie, especially, because, it just, that the container that you created, the safety and the ability, I don't think I would have been able to access the Akashic Records, my own Akashic Records, and develop the confidence that I needed to read for others without being led by someone other than Katie. So there you go.
Thank you. I'm gonna cry. Oh, I
Don't
appreciate it. Yeah, that was beautiful. And I totally understand because I felt the same way about like my training, that's the best investment I've ever made in doing that, because it opened up like the doors back to me, and that connection and ways to clear things that I felt like I had been doing other energy healing, like Reiki and working with a shaman and stuff. But for me, it was like, this doesn't go quick enough. I want something that like can happen at the speed of light, and I want to get to the root of things here. And so like for me, that was when I found the records, and I was like, oh, this is the way I like to work. And I know you like to work quickly too, and like
Yes.
get to the root of the bullshit, and you're always
Yeah.
up for that. You're always ready for that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of bullshit going on.
Yeah.
Get to the root of. Yeah.
Yeah. Just for that, like if people are maybe not thinking they want to go through all 3 levels, but maybe just level 1 for opening your own records, how do you feel about that in just your personal work and just opening up your own records, and how has that had an impact on your life, and how, I guess, how do you use that connection now?
Oh yeah, that's well, that connection is it's so beautiful to have, because it just becomes such an integral part of um my day that I don't even, when I'm doing a reading for someone, there's a real sort of ritual I go through, and I create that container. Now I have such a great connection to my record keepers and to my guides that basically they can sort of step in at any time. And when I'm veering off course or when I'm feeling a certain way, I just get these downloads, and like they're such a huge part of my day. I'll get a download when I'm doing a meditation. So it's that first course. I mean, I wanted more. That wasn't enough for me, but that first course, I mean, it opens up so much for you. If you're questioning the time commitment, I would just be able to, I mean, far more than so many other types of, reaching out and paying someone to do a healing session for you, you suddenly have that ability inside you. And it's such a confidence builder, and it really helps you make sense of your journey, and of the fact that we say, if something keeps coming up in our life and replaying, there's still something else that we need to learn from or grow from. And especially in these times, I feel like every human that's on this planet right now should at least have their level 1 Akashic Record reading.
Yeah, I would love that.
Yeah, no kidding, to deal with what is going on right now.
Yeah. Oh, I love that thought of everyone. Like, I know that all of us still get readings done by others for ourselves, even if you go through the class, because sometimes you're so close to things, but like that daily connection where you're receiving insights and can clear it and make sense of things. And that if everyone was attuned to that in some way, I think we'd have a much different world, a much less reactive world. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. And there's never an end to it. Like I just love that you don't get to this point and you're like, okay, party time. I've learned everything. There's always more. And like, there's just endless recognition and downloads and messages. And it's just it's never ending, the learnings that we get through this.
Agreed. And I love reading for people and supporting people that are up for that and want to keep learning. And it's not like, oh, I did that, check, done, that it's that for me, it's always like an exploration, and that goal of knowing yourself even more. Like, what a fascinating way to spend your time on this planet is to grow that connection to self and be like, wow, there's like all these worlds and universes within me, and I can explore all of this and explore everything that my soul has done and what I'm here to do. And yeah, it's fascinating to me as well. So to conclude, I guess, is there, what would be maybe some other questions people might have? Okay, I guess what is your feeling of your biggest takeaway from, it doesn't have to be from the training, but just now, like you went through the training last year. So how you're feeling now, I guess, compared to where you started before you signed up for the training. What do you see the biggest change in yourself?
The biggest change, you and I were speaking about this before we started recording. I'm sort of going through a challenging, I think the biggest change is understanding sort of when I'm going through a challenging time, I just see it I feel it in a different, I don't think it, I mean, I still do that a bit. I still ruminate and get into my head too much, but I'm able to pull back and sort of take that cosmic view of my life and my challenges and my relationships. And I'm able to, I've spent so much of my life resisting pride. I mean, I still do resist a bit, but once I did my training, I was able to, instead of wanting to run from my life and think, oh my gosh, I made a wrong turn somewhere. Like, why is this so friggin' tough right now? I'm able to surrender a bit more and understand that I orchestrated a lot of this, and that the lessons and the learnings that I've chosen for this lifetime might not be for the faint of heart. It's interesting because I have a really sensitive heart, and yet I've taken on challenges in this lifetime that are challenging me to keep that open and gentle heart, and yet develop sort of a strong back.
Yeah.
So I would have to say it's allowed me to pull back and view my life from the cosmic view rather from the micromanaging viewpoint, which is a huge gift.
That's beautiful. And even in the words you're using to describe things, that sense of empowerment, that it's like life is not happening to you, that you're now co-creating with life and can choose if you want to release patterns or if you want to have new manifestations or new ways of operating, that now it's like, oh, I have a say in this. I get to be a part of this. It's not like it's all just coming at me all the time.
Yeah.
So,
And just to toot your horn, Katie, just tuning into your beautiful energy. Like I just, I can sort of feel that safety net around me, that beautiful, loving safety net that is a part of your energy. I can just feel that around me now, just talking to you.
thank you. Yeah. And the other thing I was going to say too was you're saying that the sensitive heart you have, like, I know that I'm sure who's ever going to be watching this or connecting with this is also very much of the angelic realm. Like, that's who I attract. And so that they will all understand that feeling of having such a sensitive heart and coming to a place that can be, that doesn't make sense, that this earth can be really harsh and mean and wars that don't make any sense. And so for all those angels that are here, that like we get to reconnect and focus on building our angelic life and our angelic presence on here, even if the world is saying we're supposed to focus on something else. So I applaud you for owning your big, beautiful, gentle heart and for connecting with me today.
Oh, my pleasure.
Yeah. All right. So we will leave it at that. I want to thank anyone for listening to us, and you can find Carolyn's information in the links below. or on the other links in the email. So we'll leave it at that. So thank you, Carolyn.
Thanks, Katie.